June 4th, 1942. The sun rises gently over the Pacific. Calm seas, clear skies, peace on the horizon, until the silence shatters with a thunderous roar. From the decks of 4 Japanese carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and Hiryu, more than 100 aircraft take to the sky, a swarm of steel hornets diving toward Midway. Behind them sails an armada of over 100 warships. And far on the horizon, Yamato, the super battleship, the final boss of the Imperial Navy, glides forward like a mountain of steel. On the flight decks, veteran pilots of the 1930s adjust their gloves, take a deep breath, and think to themselves, easy win. But what they don't know is that this Midway will be unlike any battle in history, because a visitor from the future is about to enter the game. And that visitor might as well be a pay-to-win skin in this deadly match. At that moment, the balance tilted heavily toward Japan. 6 months after Pearl Harbor, they ruled the Pacific, boasting a powerful fleet and highly experienced pilots. For Admiral Yamato, Midway was the decisive gamble to crush America once and for all. The U.S., meanwhile, was still staggering from the shock. With much of their fleet lost, only Enterprise, Hornet, and the damaged Yorktown remained. American pilots lacked experience, and Midway's defenses were thin. But the U.S. had one secret edge. Codebreakers had deciphered Japanese communications, revealing the attack plan in advance. Midway was no ordinary battle. It was a life-or-death gamble. Japan sought absolute dominance of the Pacific, while the U.S. prayed for one chance to turn the tide. The question is, if history had played out exactly as written, who would have won? And what if a wild card suddenly appeared? Amid the roar of engines and the crash of waves, the ocean suddenly parts. Rising from the depths, a strange steel giant glides forward like a phantom. Not a destroyer of 1942, not a Japanese marvel. A visitor from 2016, the USS Zumwalt. Angular and sleek, it looks like a joint project between NASA and aliens who hate radar. On 1942 radar, it appears no bigger than a fishing boat, but in reality, it's 180 meters long, displacing 15,000 tons, the size of an entire city block. Its SPY-3 radar sweeps the skies, mapping hundreds of Japanese aircraft as glowing dots. What pilots of the 1940s would need hours, maps, and telescopes to calculate, Zumwalt does in milliseconds. Its arsenal? 80 vertical launch cells. SM-6 missiles can delete aircraft 200 kilometers away. Tomahawks can swing around mountains, make a right turn at the intersection, and explode in your living room. ESSMs clean up anything foolish enough to get close. A full delete menu at the push of a button. And all powered by 78 megawatts of electricity, enough to light up a small city, yet it moves quieter than a library. To the Japanese, this is nothing less than a stealth boss emerging from nowhere. 4:30 a.m. From the carrier decks, launch crews move like clockwork, chalks out, thumbs up, signal wands slicing through the dawn. Engines howl. One by one, Zeros, Vals, and Kates leap forward, wheels lifting in salty spray. The formation tightens into neat, murderous geometry. Arrowheads at high altitude, torpedo bombers skimming lower, dive bombers climbing to the Sunday. On the radio, calm confidence. Midway is the bait. Today, we finish the fleet. 100 miles away, the future waits. Inside Zumwalt's Combat Information Center, the world lives on screens. Green rings, red blips, numbers dancing. The SPY-3 radar blooms, first a handful of contacts, then dozens, then a galaxy of inbound returns. A sailor nudges his mug aside and deadpans. Looks like Christmas came early. Another calls out ranges like a metronome. 100 nautical, 9 to 5, 9 to 0. Milliseconds matter. Targets are auto-classified, threat lanes painted. VLS hatches iris open with a hiss, like metal eyelids waking up. Weapons free. One press. Whoosh. An SM-6 kicks the ship, claws skyward. Then another, and another. Contrails etch the pastel dawn like chalk on a blue slate. From Japanese cockpits, the ocean looks empty, the horizon honest. Then reality tears. A fighter vanishes in a brief white flare. Another blossoms into an orange flower. A third sunders mid-roll, shedding wings like paper. The radio erupts. Where is the enemy? No radar contact. Climb. No. Dive. Orders stack, contradict, evaporate. Zumwalt doesn't argue, it computes. Mid-course updates arc invisibly through the sky. Seekers wake in terminal phase, noses snapping to heat in motion. Curvature of the Earth shots kills from beyond any doctrine the 1940s ever wrote. A sailor whispers, Control-Alt-Delete, and someone snorts despite the tension. The formation phrase, torpedo bombers try the deck-level route. Wake shadows flicker over waves. SM 6 seconds side down and erase them in bright, brief punctuation. Dive bombers climb to trade altitude for speed only to meet angles and timing they cannot outthink. Panic propagates like fire in tall grass. Some planes scatter low and wide, others stack high and tight. All of it data to feed the beast. By the time the survivors reach Midway, the sky behind them looks like a junkyard of smoke spirals. Bombs fall wild. A lone crater blooms harmlessly in a lagoon. Most jettison and run. Back aboard Akagi, faces blanch under deck lighting. Losses? Nagumo asks. The answer lands like a lead anchor. Almost all. He refuses to believe in ghosts. Second wave launch. The deck crews obey. Another 170 aircraft claw into the air. A second storm of aluminum and hope. But the ocean has shifted. So has the future. Zumwalt slides on a cushion of stealth, hull angles drinking in radar like a black star. In CIC, the timeline rebuilds. Courses, speeds, intercept points. The plot looks like an RTS lobby icons, cones, and outcomes. Track quality high, push. VLS flowers, again. New salvos scream upward. On scopes, red triangles blink, then blink out. Zeros, once the terror of the Pacific, shred like paper in a wind tunnel. A torpedo bomber rolls steady to line up, then ceases to exist. Its last act, a smear of vapor and spray. A startled voice over Japanese radio. It's shooting from nowhere. Another. The sky is broken. On Zumwalt, there's no celebration. Just cadence. Splash, splash, splash. Counters tick down. Ammo bars edge lower. The crew rides the rhythm, detect, decide, delete. 20 minutes in, the pattern has a shape. Clusters approach, stagger, disappear. A few slip the net, limping home with riddled wings and smoking tails. They land to a silence you can taste. One pilot, still shaking, manages, invisible enemy. The sky is a graveyard. In less than half an hour, 2 attack waves over 270 aircraft have been functionally erased. On the bridge of Akagi, Nagumo's knuckles whiten on the rail. This isn't tactics or luck. This is a different century playing by different rules. A rigged game, and today, Japan is the NPC. But even a boss from 2016 has limits. 80 missiles sound like plenty, but after 2 massive salvos, the magazine's empty fast. In 1942, there's no reload station for missiles. Out of ammo, Zumwalt is just a 15,000-ton floating hotel. Meme caption, when your ammo bar hits 0 and the boss fight just started. And GPS? Satellites? Sorry, only seagulls in 1942 skies. Zumwalt must rely solely on radar, sonar, and human skill. A single malfunction could downgrade it into a confused relic. 2042 hardware nerfed to 1942. Worst of all, beneath the waves lurks the Japanese submarine I-168, armed with Type 95 torpedoes. To a periscope, Zumwalt looks like a glowing whale in a fish tank. One lucky torpedo could end it all. Smoke clears over the Pacific. Midway is no longer the balanced duel written in history. It becomes the most one-sided naval victory imaginable. In just hours, 4 Japanese carriers, Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, Hiryu, are ablaze. Hundreds of elite pilots, once the pride of the empire, are gone. Yamamoto's grand gamble collapses faster than Wi-Fi when the neighbor streams Netflix in 4 kelvins. America's losses? So few they could be counted on one hand. History, which took years of sacrifice to tip the balance, is now compressed into a single morning. Zumwalt, the ghost from the future, becomes legend. The Phantom of Midway. But a bigger question remains. If technology from 2016 really appeared in World War II, would it bring peace sooner or simply unleash even deadlier wars? And now, it's your turn. What do you think? Is this a savior's gift or humanity's worst nightmare? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the next scenario. What if a platoon of U.S. Marines had to conquer the Roman Empire?